Hello everyone, I'm Tremayne, and this is my Days of Our Lives commentary on three controversial storylines that that I just decided to talk about separately. I'm going to talk about Princess Gina, Stefano, and Lani. So before we get to it, as always, please take a minute to subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you have subscribed, please hit that like button, because every time you hit that like button lets YouTube know this is a good video for soap fans so they can become soap fan. I hope my voice lasts through this one. I got a hole sitting right here, but I think I can get through it. I just did 5 Days for Our Lives videos. This is the last one I'm going to do today. And please join me on Instagram because I need to let y'all know this so y'all can get spoilers and news and be able to contact me like quickly. Like on Twitter, I'm constantly seeing soap news. I'm getting it directly from the actors, from the production companies, and from the fans. And so Twitter, I can give you spoilers and news daily because I'm always on there. Instagram, I only focus on hot topics. If it's a soap news that I think that's really hot that you'll enjoy, I put that on Instagram. And in my Facebook group, Things Remain So Fam, if you join that group, then once we reach 500 members, we're like 110 members away. Once we reach 500 members, I'll start doing lives in the group. But the group is a really fun group. It's a very positive, friendly, if people come in there acting like trolls, we kick them out. If people come in there and they start arguing and it's in a nasty way, then they get one warning. They keep, want to be, destructive, then they get put out. People love the Soap Fam group on Facebook because they're like, this is the nicest soap opera group I've ever been in, and I would love for you to be part of it. This video, I'm not going to say it's going to be mean. It's just going to be, I'm glad these stories are wrapping up. I really am. And I just wanted to talk about some key elements that has taken me out of the story. I think if you've been watching my videos, you know I've been championing Kristen Alfonso as Princess Gina. Before that, she looked pretty bored. She didn't have a love interest. She was just there. For after the breakup with Rafe, I don't know what was going on, but she might as well been Sam from General Hospital. She just was done mentally. But with Gina, even if you've seen her on social media, you can tell she's having a lot of fun with it. She's having a lot of fun with the accent. And I like that I saw a spark of life come into the actress that was lost when Hope really stopped having storylines that Kristen was really interested in. That's my take on it. But now, the first thing that annoyed me about Princess Gina is I really would have loved if she interacted with more characters. And I know she had this obsession with John in the past, but it really feels like that ship has sailed. Him and Marlena have such a strong connection. They just got married, and even in a year's time, there's no way that him and Marlena he would have left Marlena for Gina. I would have loved to have seen Gina interact with Rafe, whereas Hope lost interest in Rafe. Gina developed an interest in Rafe or someone else on the show. It could have been a really fun storyline where she could have really played with the character and played with a new set of characters. And I think we all thought it was very interesting that the cast pretty much of characters ignored her odd behavior. People who have known about Princess Gina in the past, like Marlena, never even questioned that something could be wrong with Hope. They knew that she was brainwashed before. Instead, Marlena became an instant rival of Hope's, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Because, yeah, she saw her in a compromising position with John, but Hope is like the goody two shoes of the goody two shoes, except for that moment when she shot Stefano. She was tired of him. But other than that, Hope has been a beacon of virtue. So for her to start, smoking cigarettes that she can't light, because they can't light cigarettes on the show, I think that they probably could have had an off comment about, I don't want to catch cancer. These are outdated. Anything. I would have loved it if it was more of a multiple personality type storyline where there was a glimmer of hope inside of her. And like when Hope first became Gina, they were flipping back and forth. So Hope was losing time. It was like a multiple personality DID storyline. And I would have really liked for seeing maybe Hope in the mirror, trying to get out, trying to get in control, struggling to, saying, John's never going to love you or anything. But I think that would have been I'm a writer, so I honestly come up with new scenarios. But I think that would have been a lot more fun because just seeing her throw herself at John, it's past that's expired. That's past its expiration date. And the fact that Sean, within 15 minutes, knew that wasn't his mother, and the whole town of people didn't even question that was not Hope, was interesting. But I really enjoyed it because I knew that meant once one person figured out she's Gina, they're wrapping the storyline up because she can't be Gina if John and Marlena and she didn't kidnap people, she pushed Jennifer off the balcony. I would have loved more tension between her and Jennifer, whereas Jennifer has not even had a glimmer of a memory except for like maybe a couple of instances of what really happened that night. Now it's kind of redundant since everybody knows she's Gina. It's kind of pretty much easy to figure out. Hope was the only one there. Although Rolf was on the video, yeah, Jennifer could remember that as part of everything going on because it's not like Jennifer's been doing anything. I did enjoy the moment where Jack was telling Jennifer that she can't just write stories she want to write. She's got to run it by him. That was an interesting dynamic between them. A little friction, but not too much. And then it became a loving moment. I like that about Jack and Jennifer in that scene, but we don't have enough of it. So I was a fan of the Princess Gina storyline, but as it continued and as she continued to chase after John, I continued to lose interest. And at some points it just became redundant. And then we have Stefano. I really was looking forward to Stephen Nichols coming back to the show. Didn't care if he was Patch or Stefano. Stefano was an interesting choice for him to come back. But I think the main problem with Stefano coming back as Steve is that they waited way too long for it to happen. This storyline is also wrapping up now that Kate is feeling guilty, and she's just told Hattie, and John is gonna figure it out. Everybody's gonna figure it out. And on Friday, as of this taping, next Friday, he tells Marlena he's Stefano. So once Marlena knows he's Stefano, it's only a matter of time that he gets hurt. So somebody's gonna do something to him, which sends him running to Kayla for some medical attention. And I think that's when things will really start to wrap up with the story because, as Ron said in the February sweeps, reveal that you can't wrap up this story without Kayla. So, but my main problem with Stefano is, once again, the obsession with Marlena. I know that that's a staple for Stefano, but as I said in another video, I would have really loved to have seen Stefano fall in love with Kayla, because part of Steve is in him. So that would have been interesting for him to initially want Marlena, but begin having flashes of Steve and his feelings for Kayla, and maybe even seeing instances of the two of them together in the past, and Stefano realizes he wants Kayla. And I thought that would have been an interesting dynamic of Kayla not knowing that she's sleeping with the enemy. Justin could have definitely fought Steve for Kayla's love. That could have been a more interesting love triangle, since they really haven't delved into Justin and Kayla and Steve / Stefano as a real triangle. But and they toyed briefly with the idea that he would hook up with Kate, but that was nipped in the bud really fast. And I have no idea why Hattie's in the storyline. As I said in my other video, I have no idea what her purpose is in the storyline, because she's just being a waitress and she's just there. So Marlena is doing double duty basically for nothing at this point. But I think my interest in the Stefano storyline went out the window when he came up with the plan to kill Marlena and to kill John, so that Gina could have John and he could have Marlena, that they would pawn for each other till the day they died. So if they thought each one was dead, then they would be open to eventually being with other people, meaning them. And there's so many holes with this story. There's so many plot holes. My biggest plot hole in the story is John would have to mourn Marlena. He's not going to be like, oh, Marlena's dead, Gina, let's get married. Let's have some babies or something. Marlena's not going to say, oh, Steve, John's dead, so I'm looking for a new love. I want you next. That doesn't even make sense. The whole idea of telling each one that the other is dead makes no sense, because Marlena's in Salem, John's in Prague. And if Gina has her way and he believes Marlena's dead, you mean to tell me he's never going to visit Brady? You mean to tell me he's never going to see his son or family or friends again? He's just going to stay in Prague and live happily ever with Gina? It makes no sense, because that would never happen. He would, of course, come to Salem, where Marlena is clearly alive. And vice versa, Marlena may not go running to Prague, but they're going to be, the biggest thing, plot hole in this whole story is, if John or Marlena died, what would be the next thing to happen? A funeral. So when they start planning funerals for people that aren't dead, the same guests would basically be at the funerals. So the only way for Gina's plan to work is if John never goes back to Salem, and all he has to do is make one phone call just to see how everybody is doing, and they go, oh, you're not dead. So just the fact that they would have to have funerals, and they'd want to see the body. Um, the plan makes no sense. And when I realized the plan of making each one think they were dead makes absolutely no sense, I said the only thing that would make this make sense if this was a dream. And there's a rumor that the time jump storylines are all dreams, and that in February we'll find out it's a dream and they'll reboot or whatever. But I've also now heard that it's not a dream. So I don't know the truth anymore. I don't know if it's going to be a dream. I don't know if it's going to be, real. But what I do know is I can't wait for it to be over. I need Steve to be Steve. Now, Steven has done a really good job of being Stefano as especially with the growl he does with his voice. But then again, the scene where he starts defending Stefano to Anna and John and Tony, I'm like, how can they not at least take into consideration that he's brainwashed? It makes no sense. If it's a dream, then it makes sense, because a dream doesn't have to make sense. It just happens. But yeah, I'm like, and I know John gave him a look like weird. Then John found the ring, and he let Steve have that flimsy ass excuse. Ugh. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. Are you feeling the same way I am about these two storylines now? Thank goodness they wrap up in the next few weeks. The last thing I want to talk about, and I've mentioned this a few times, the Gabby-Lani conundrum. This whole storyline basically hinges on the idea that Gabby is a homicidal, serial killing maniac that is just going to kill Julie no matter what. If Lani snitches, she's going to hurry up and kill Julie. If Gabby don't give her a wine, she's going to hurry up and kill Julie. Let me tell you why this don't make sense. Gabby just went on this whole revenge kick because Abigail sent her to jail for a crime she did not commit. And while in jail, she was beaten. She possibly can't have kids anymore. And most importantly, she lost so much time from her daughter, Ariana, that, I can't imagine anything making that character become so homicidal that just to get back at Lani, she would risk her freedom, that she would risk going to jail for the rest of her life after she was traumatized in jail, and that she would possibly never see her daughter again, at least not without, plexiglass. So it doesn't make sense that Gabby would... I can see Gabby threatening to do it. I can't see Gabby actually going through with it. Yeah, caused Julie have a couple of fluctuations or whatever. There's a big difference between causing Julie have fluctuations and saying, okay, everybody knows I now have this device that can kill Julie, and I'm just gonna kill her and then go to jail, because that's pretty much what happens next. I lose the mirror, I lose my child, and I'm back in jail where I tried desperately to get out of. Makes no sense. Lani was a cop. The moment that Gabby revealed that she had a device that could kill Julie, she should have taken her phone from her and took out her handcuffs and locked her up. Period. And if anything happened to Julie, then everybody knows what's going on. And then she didn't tell Julie, she didn't tell Eli. Of all people, she should have told Eli. Um, you know, even humiliating him at his wedding, that should have been something where they were working together, pretending to break up in front of everybody, just to fool Gabby until they could get a new pacemaker in Julie. So, that didn't make sense. And then Julie and Lani had a very strange relationship. Julie had her heart attack because she had did a MLK quote. They told her that was racially insensitive. Julie got upset. She ended up having a heart attack later on. So Lani, it's not like Lani loved Julie or anything, or that Julie did great things for Lani, or they were great friends. The storyline had an easy fix. If they just switched the characters and it was Abe that had the heart attack for whatever reason, and Gabby was like, I'll kill your father if you don't break up with Eli. I can understand her being so afraid of her father dying that she'd be willing to lose the man she loved to make sure that he was safe no matter what. If Eli himself had, let's say he got shot or something and he needed a pacemaker, I could understand her leaving Eli if his life was threatened. That's it. So everybody else, she could have called the police and had Gabby locked up. The only two characters that would really, in my opinion, make Lani do all the things she did, be coming out and everything, is if it was Abe or Eli. She loves them enough to lose everything. Julie, not so much. And the fact that she didn't tell Julie's doctor, who could have, helped with the pacemaker situation. She didn't want to tell her brother Theo, who definitely is like super hacker that could and would help. It makes no sense. And I love Days of Our Lives. I love most of the stories, especially my new favorite couple used to be Ben and Sierra. Ben and Sierra got boring. My new favorite couple is Xander and Sarah. I love Xander and Sarah. But I think I have two favorite couples that I just root for. I root for Kristen and Brady. And I think they're actually my number one couple. But Xander and Sarah right up there. I think is equal. Those are my two favorite couples on. So anything they're in, I love Victor. I love Kate. I love Chad. I love Abigail, but she ain't got a storyline. And I love Eve. I wish they didn't kick her off the show. So, I love so much about the show and so many characters, and I love all the other storylines. I can tolerate the Gabby storyline because I love Gabby. We're all waiting for Stefano to come back in May. So yeah, for those of you who didn't know when he was coming back, he don't come back till May. Way down the road is May. He don't come back till the summer. It's still the winter. So that's it. I really appreciate you watching this video. It is longer than I anticipated it would be, but that's just how long it took for me to get my feelings out. Hopefully you watched this video to the end. If you did, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And please let me know in the comment section, am I preaching to the choir or do you disagree with me? Thanks for watching. I'm Tremayne, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.